Hi, everybody. Welcome. You're watching The SIP. This is the show hosted by us interns here at the California Academy of Sciences, and we're part of the Summer Systematics Institute. So go ahead, grab a coffee. Usually I have steaming hot liquid, but today I'm sipping water out of a recycled pickle jar. Got to stay hydrated, but yeah.
I have my orange juice because I don't drink coffee.
Wow, yes, sip.
Non-coffee drinks today.
Yeah, loud slurping. Cool. All set.
ASMR.
Yes. But yeah, hi everybody. My name is Arya. I'm not sure where my co-host Noah is today. He might be having Wi-Fi issues, so hopefully he'll hop in and join us later, but if not, you'll see him in the next live stream. And we have a very special guest with us today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Juliana Limon, but I go by Juli or Juli mostly. So either of the two are fine, or three, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I guess I could give a better one.
Yeah.
I am a transfer student at UC Santa Cruz, and my former community college is College of the Sequoias, which, if you know where the Sequoia National Park is, it's like right there. Let's see. I'm studying marine biology, and this is I'm going into my final year of my undergrad, so that's super exciting.
Wow. Yeah, me too. So I'm in the same boat, rising seniors. It's wild.
Getting ready to be done. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we can just go ahead and jump right into questions.
Okay,
We're really
cool.
excited to hear about your research. And my computer is frozen, so I'm not able to pull up your slides. But do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about what you're excited about for your summer research project with SSI?
Yeah, so I'll give just a quick little description. This summer, I'm working with Alejandra Hernandez. She's a postdoc in Pim Bongart's lab, and I'm working on Helioceras cucullata, also known as sunray lettuce coral. So this is a coral that used to be super abundant in the Caribbean, but it suffered a dramatic population decline and is now pretty rare. And then specifically, I'm looking at the morphological diversity within the genus and species. So this specific coral is found in shallow and upper mesophotic reefs. So a mesophotic reef is a deep sea reef that ranges anywhere between 40 and 150 meters. But since this one is found in just the upper limits, it doesn't go as deep as the 150 meters. And then I'm really interested in this project and excited about it because coral are just super crazy diverse. They have so many different unique structures in the same colony, let alone in different depth gradients. So getting to see how the conditions at different depths and even just conditions at the same depths change how coral looks is super cool and super interesting. And another reason I'm really excited about this, or it means a lot to me to be doing this project, is with the transition to online because of the pandemic, we had to switch from using typical ways that we would describe the coral into just using pictures that they had out in the field. And normally what they would do to just determine a coral species by morphological features is taking a piece of the coral out of the water. And then this can kind of bring a rise to a ton of different issues. Taking a piece off of a coral colony can leave the rest of it susceptible to disease or other things. And if we can do anything we can to limit our impact on the coral, it would be great. So being able to use pictures to classify coral is a huge step into lowering our impact on our nature, or on nature. So coming up with this protocol means a lot to me as a conscious scientist and someone who doesn't necessarily want to, kind of leave a footprint in nature just to study it. So, yeah. Oh no, I think I lost Arya for a second. So, oh no, I lost both my hosts. I will probably take a second just to message her and see where she went. So Arya's Wi-Fi went down for a second, but she is reloading and coming back. So I'll probably just go back to being black screens. Sorry. Hi, Noah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Can you see and hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Okay. Let's see. So Arya, sci-fi is also out right now, but I just finished describing like my research project.
oh, okay. Sorry I'm late. I was just
It's
having
okay.
trouble with my internet as well.
Yeah, the story of quarantine, honestly. So
Not really. For all those guys, for all the people else, um, the viewers here. My name is Noah, and sorry, I'm late. I'm from New York City, and I go to Queens College here. And okay, Juli was already talking about your corals, right?
yeah.
Can you continue?
Yeah, so I was just talking about how important it's to me as a budding scientist to really, when we're out studying science and nature, especially in places that aren't necessarily our own backyard or our own areas, to leave the least amount of impact as possible. And this is really important to a lot of conservationists and a lot of scientists, and especially people here at Cal Academy. And so my project specifically is like using pictures of coral rather than taking out pieces of coral in order to describe them.
So it's like a way of conserving them, right?
Yeah, so basically, yeah, because a lot of times we'll like go into nature and it's really necessary to collect specimens, but sometimes if you have an endangered species or something that's really rare, you don't want to do that even to study science, because while studying them and having those specimens is extremely important, it's also, this kind of like you're taking it out of nature where it could continue to thrive. So trying to find a way where you can still study it without taking nature is a really important thing to think about and be conscious of when you're studying science.
I have a question about your corals. Are they
Mm-hmm.
filter feeders or predators?
I actually don't know that. So I would assume that they are a little bit of like a filter feeder. Most corals have like some type of mucus or tentacles. From pictures I've seen where they get macro, they do have tentacles in the polyps where they can cling on to things that are like filtering by to get food. But I wouldn't know like 100% for sure.
Okay, so let's start with the first question. Can you tell us like what is something that inspires you or excites you the most about your summer research project?
I think it would just be learning more about coral and even just thinking about how what I'm doing in studying just morphological features in coral, how that can be incorporated into other parts of science, like genomics, which is also something that the lab I'm working with works a lot on, and also conservation and how looking at morphological features, different depths, looking at the genomes of these coral species and conservation, and the bridge between all of those things is really exciting to me.
Yeah, super interesting. We have another question. I'm here with Arya trying to.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna go the second question. What is one of your favorite memories with nature?
I would have to say one of my favorite memories is one that I had when I was really young. I spend a lot of time in nature now, but I think one of the times that really got me into knowing and believing that I would become an ocean scientist one day is when I was really young, probably between the ages 5 and 8. We were visiting my mom's family in Mexico, and one day we were at the beach in Cihuatanejo, and I just remember, being out in the water and swimming and having like zero care in the world, and just like being so just like in love with being in the water that I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings. And a few minutes pass and I like hear my mother yelling my name, and I see that like everyone left the water, and this was like a beach filled with like tens and dozens of people. And I like look down, and there's just like a huge like mass of stingrays. So there's probably like 10, and I'm just swimming and floating above them. And like, I don't know, it was just like everybody got out of the water because they were so afraid of getting stung. And like, here I am, just like being a little careless like child, just swimming above them, and like not even realizing, one, that like they could like be potentially dangerous, and two, like not caring that like they're dangerous. So I think that's like such a like one of my favorite stories, is just like swimming with stingrays and just like not caring, and like I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah. It's like a child from the beginning. I love that.
Yeah.
And sorry everybody, literally my browser just died and now it's not refusing, like it's not opening the computer, so I'm on my device here. But Noah, do you have access to Juli's slides? She had a really great photo of her as a child in the sand.
Oh yeah.
If you want to click the slideshow, it's
Yes.
a super fun picture.
Yeah, so this is, I was probably like, I'm super tall, so like here I probably am only 6. I just look like I'm older, but yeah, I was just like, this is me in the like on the beach. This was probably just like a few minutes to like an hour before, like swimming in the ocean with the stingrays. So great times.
Yeah, that's great. And while we have your slides up, do you want to go take us back to your sunray lettuce coral and show
Oh
us?
yeah.
So we're talking about ecology and all of these big words. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that and what it means, or like what you're looking at specifically?
Yeah, so here this coral, this picture is kind of zoomed out, so you can't see all of the things that I'm looking at, but this is what a sunray lettuce coral is, and you can kind of see the grooves on it. So the grooves on it, giving it that wave-like lettucey texture, is why it's called the sunray lettuce coral. And also, if you can see like some of the things I'm looking at, I don't know, I don't think you can see where I'm like pointing. Let me see if I use a pointer. Yeah. Here you see like white ridges. So I'm looking at like the area of the coral and how much that white ridge takes up of that area as well, because at the edges of the coral where it's just the white skeleton is where the coral's symbiotic zooxanthellae hasn't reached yet. So corals get their coloration from an algae that they have a symbiotic relationship with. And a symbiotic relationship is just one that benefits both of the parties. So the algae is given refuge and a place to live that is nice and safe in the coral. And the coral also gets nutrients from the photosynthetic algae. Let's see, some other things I'm looking at is, you can't see these things, but there are structures on the coral called corallites. This is where like coral polyps live and hide. So I'm looking at like the amount of those. Another really cool thing that I'm looking at is the intensity or the brightness of the red, green, and blue values in the color. And that information can kind of help tell me what type of algae is in these corals. And sometimes you can tell a species of a coral or other characteristics of a coral by the type of algae it has.
Got it. Okay, so algae and coral are like, there are different species of algae for different species of coral then that they have.
Yeah, so yeah, that's something I've like been reading up on, and it's a good way of telling. So, different algae, I guess, prefers different types of coral species, and it may also have to do with like location and accessibility. I'm not 100% sure on why different algae choose different coral.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, Noah, do you want to continue on with our next question?
Or just I already went with the second question.
Okay, yeah. You want the third one?
You want me to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. 1 second. Okay, how this is what the movement of like how has the Black Lives Matter movement impacted you as a person or as a scientist?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really like this one, and I've thought a lot about it because I watched the other ones. And the Black Lives Matter movement impacts me indirectly. I'm not a Black person, and I don't 100% understand what it's like to have the lived experiences as a Black person. But I don't let that stop me from being actively anti-racist and calling out anti-Black racism in my community, whether that community be just the Latinx community or my family, my friends, my classmates, colleagues, whatever I'm choosing to call community. And growing up with a Black brother, I realized how differently our struggles and the oppression and racism we face is, and it also made me realize the importance of Black and Brown unity for striving for equality and equity for Black people. But I think now that I'm in academia and I go to a Research One university and I'm in an ecology and evolutionary biology department, I see how little Black people are represented in this institution or just in this field. And I think there have been incidents and other things that made me realize this as well. At the end of May, there was an incident where a white woman called the cops on a Black birder named Christian Cooper. And that incident, I think, was just kind of like the straw on the camel's back for me, where I realized just like what it kind of means to exist in nature while Black. And then reading more testimonials on social media and the hashtags of Black in the Ivory or Black in STEM, I realized things that I need to be calling myself out for doing, and things that I need to be checking in my academic space. And so since then, and reading about things, I've been thinking of ways how not only I can just call out anti-Black racism, because while doing that stuff does create a safer space for Black people in STEM, it doesn't necessarily increase their visibility or make it easier for them to occupy these spaces. So I've been thinking of ways on how I can be a better ally and a better advocate for my Black classmates, and just trying to be a better scientist and someone who can encourage Black people to be scientists as well and go into fields like ecology and evolutionary biology.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that answer. I've definitely been feeling a lot of the same things. And while we're on the subject of hashtags, this week is Black Botanists Week. So
yes,
everybody out there who's on Twitter, and it's probably on Instagram too.
Instagram as well, yeah.
Yeah, and so if you're on social media, go check out the hashtag Black Botanists Week. You get to hear stories from a lot of amazing scientists who are studying plants or are just generally plant enthusiasts. Some really great stuff is happening there, so go check it out.
Yeah, and there's also been past ones like Black Birders Week, or let's see, right now Black Botanist. There was another one that I was super interested in, but I can't remember now. But I'm hoping that soon there'll be a Black marine biologist, because I'm a budding marine biologist. If not, hopefully I can I've been cold DMing a lot of Black marine biologists, and I'm like, hey, let's get this started. But yeah, definitely go check those out, hear what people have to say, because one, it's really important just to make Black voices heard and acknowledge the struggles they go through in STEM and academia.
Yeah, and I think it's also just I've loved seeing the joy and the passion and a lot of things that also kind of tend to get erased in you know, uplifting voices of Black people. It's yes, there are all these struggles that we have to consider and have to help alleviate, but there should also be uplifting the good stuff too alongside of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing, Juli. And yeah, we can switch gears into our final official question of this live stream. And that is, if you could travel anywhere in the universe, where would you go and why?
I think that this is a question I actually haven't thought about, but it's really good. I think that So I'm a really like big firm believer on that there's like life outside like of our planet. So I think I would try to find like a planet or a moon that has like a or either has or had a lot of water and try to look for marine life on like different planets to see like just the differences. I think I don't know. I'm like really into just like really cool marine organisms. So going looking out for like things I've never seen before.
Oh, I love that. I super love that. And actually, that reminds me, I'm shouting out all kinds of social media today, but there's a podcast that I started listening to called Exolore, like explore, but the P is an O. And the host, Moya McTeer, brings on scientists and they like discuss life on other planets and what it might look like with specific environments. So they have like a water
Wow.
episode.
See, I know I'm gonna have to go and like listen to that because that's what I like. I want to see because like one, there's already like I wouldn't even say like necessarily like deep sea. Like there's a lot of deep sea marine organisms and just like other marine organisms that are creeping around that like look like they belong on a different planet. So to imagine what something on a different planet actually like looks like and how it exists, that would just like blow my mind.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great podcast, super descriptive. Yeah, like what Juli on similar lines, what is you do you have a favorite deep sea organism or just ocean organism in general?
I think ocean organisms. I like anything that's like bioluminescence. I actually really like nudibranch. Um, but like there's like a fish that has like these little like eye sacs like underneath its eyes that have like a bioluminescent algae in it and like they can control like they can close that little thing or they can open it and it's like super crazy. Somebody just posted pictures on it on Twitter. That's how like I found out. If I knew their Twitter, I would totally shout them out. I think it's like that fish guy Kai. He's like a fish taxonomist, but yeah, I'm like, yeah. So it's crazy, but honestly, anything that has like bioluminescent like has my heart.
Mm-hmm. Are they called flashlight fish? I feel like they're
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Wow.
Oh.
Thanks for coming in clutch, Arya.
Just like my like random trivia about ocean organisms
Yeah.
back of my brain. But yeah, cool. With that, I think that's all of our questions. But thank you so much for joining us. And now you want to wrap us up here?
Oh, I don't know if I like hurt like going.
I didn't know.
Oh yeah, like all of our social media handles are below. And you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we've been kind of retweeting some of the things that we actually talked about in this podcast. So you can find links for that on our social media account. And we have another live stream today. It is at 2:15 p.m. Pacific time. So tune in for that. We have another intern that we will be chatting with. And yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks again, Juli.
Yeah, of course.
Great to talk to you.
Bye, guys. This is super fun. So.
Yeah, sorry for all the Wi-Fi issues, you know.
No, it's okay. That's really like the story of like the pandemic or like, just this pandemic is